What's up, everybody? This is your boy Cali P. Today's video, we're going to be bringing you updates on the current project. So after the intro, we're going to jump right into it. So this is where we at right now. Last night I didn't video because it was just a little quick snippet, but I came in here, took the front passenger wheel off, and kind of got the frame set up how I want it to be set up. It's just about low enough for me to pull it out of here. So now I am going to come in today, lower it, and I may need to take some of these pieces off before I do the final lower, or lowering of the frame. You know, excuse the lingo, nothing but the top tier conversation over here, you know. But anyways, the Hodgkin springs, I have to get those out of there because I'm planning on putting those on the market to sell. Just like I got the rears off. I do need to take this off because now that I'm looking at it, it's going to be lower. It's going to be too low, and it'll relieve some of this weight. So I'm going to take the sway bar off, the torsion bars, all of that stuff, which is repurposable for somebody, in the springs. And I'm gonna take the steering box off. It got a leak though, and I probably really don't need that, but I'm gonna take it off just in case, unless it gives me a headache. If it's too much for me to deal with, as far as getting the bolts out of there and all of that, I might not even worry about that. It shouldn't be a hard thing to replace that, but I'm gonna do some research before I just assume that. So yeah, anyways, I got a couple of guys coming over to drop off my engine hoist, and I'm gonna try to get this done so I can get them to help me move this frame into my backyard. So they don't know, but he borrowed my engine hoist. Now I'm about to put him to work. So yeah, let me get this done. All right, quick little video while I still got some battery power left on my phone. So I got the passenger side front suspension pretty much off. Some of these bolts, like this bolt in here, yeah, I use my foot to point, man, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, some of these bolts in here were just rotted on. It's just the rust is back past getting it off easy. So I'm probably gonna have to, I heated it up and all that, so I'm probably gonna have to cut this bolt right here if I want to salvage this front sway bar. So I got that off, and I got the Hodgkin's spring out of there. So now I'm just going to do the same thing that I did on this side. I don't know what I'm going to run into as far as complexity on trying to get this stuff off of here, but what I did was I just took off what I could, you know, that wasn't rusted on, to the point to where I couldn't couldn't unbolt it. And so, as you can see, the sway bar is hanging there. I was able to get this loose in the passenger side as well. So this is probably gonna come off as one whole piece, just so I can get this frame lowered back on the dollies and possibly pull it out today. That's the goal, or at least get it in position to where I can pull it out. So I gotta put the other dolly here, and then I'll be lowering it back down on the dollies, and I should be able to roll that thing up out of here. Again, I still gotta deal with the driver's side suspension stuff, and so that's what I'm gonna do now, and see if I can get it out a little bit easier on the side. I got some of the stuff kind of started already. So on the other side, because I couldn't remove the sway bar bolt that goes right here on the other side, it was a little bit hard for me to get to the castle nut. But this one looks like it's going to be a little bit easier. Well, it's definitely going to be a little bit easier, depending on how the stuff comes off. I'm going to spray it with some WD-40, heat it up, and then see what we got. And then once I get this stuff up off of here, though, it'll be just about just trying to salvage the parts, whatever parts I'm trying to salvage. Other than that, this stuff can come out of my way, and I'll be free to move the frame. So, all right, about to get on that right now. So real quick, I want to just share how I did this. So the front suspension is off, steering box is out, but it's still all connected. I don't have the tools to separate that on hand right now, so I can do that later. But to save me time and effort trying to struggle with it, I just took it all apart as one unit. And so again, I have a jack, I have this block right here to help me remove this. What I did was I jacked where this block up is first, so I could get the components out, and then I jacked it up a little bit higher, put this block here, then I rested on the block, and then I moved the jack back to the front part of this frame here, jacked it up, and I was able to pull those control bars, right, for the steering control bars. I was able to pull that back past the block, and now I'm gonna jack this down. I'm gonna lower the jack on that block. All right, it's sitting on there. Let me make sure it's safe. Get under here a little bit more. I like how that sit down on there. So now I'm about to lower it on there. Okay, it's nicely seated on there. Then I'm gonna pull this out, and everything will be able to slide out. I'll come back with that. All right, so here we go. Front suspension is removed. And I got it rigged to where the block is still in place. I'm gonna do it in reverse. Jack this front end of the frame up, take the block out of there, set the block under the front end of the frame, push the jack back so I can lower it down on the dollies. And then I'm gonna check my heights to see what I need, if I need to be able to get it lower. If I need to raise the body up a little bit more, then I'll put some blocks under the front end and then kind of go from there. But this is something you want to make sure, all kicks and giggles aside, when you're doing this type of stuff, you want to make sure you being safe. So I have to make sure that I adjust this to make sure it's seated properly every time I lift it off of this jack stand. And the reason why I'm being cautious like that is because, for one, it's windy right now. This jack stand is, I believe it's a 3-ton. Yeah, it's a 3-ton jack stand. So it was more than enough load. It can carry more than enough load, but just to be safe for myself, I'm here at the house by myself doing this work. There's nobody here to help me if I get in the jam. So I need to make sure I'm extra cautious. And if you're doing something like this, that's what I would, recommend. If you might have heard safety first, and I don't know how you feel about that, but the way I feel about it is I'm gonna put it first. So on a serious note, make sure you check your jack stands. If you're doing something like this and you don't have like a rotisserie, or you don't have your body on a cart or anything like that, and that way you can be safe. Now, y'all watching on the channel, y'all know I got the cart, but I'm not there yet. I still got to do some, still have to do the stuff that I did today, which is removing the front suspension, tires, all that good stuff. So I'll come back and see how this one's twisted right here. Look, see? This is a square piece of wood. This needs to be seated right. So that's why I'm doing that. But we almost there. We almost there. Come back. All right. So now you can see the rear end of the frame is sitting down on the dolly. The front end of the frame is sitting down on the dolly. Now, because of how the frame is built, when I set it down here, it's lower in the rear. So what I need to do is I need to raise the front up see, for the floor pans. I'm clear back here, but I need to raise the front up so that I can clear the floor pans. And so that's probably going to need to be raised up just so I can make sure I don't have to go back and forth with it. It's probably going to need to be raised up like 3 inches or so. And if you can see that wheel right there is off the ground on the frame, I need to set that a little bit better so that it'll roll properly when I go to pull it up from out of here. So a few little things, some safety stuff, that's safety right there. And yeah, so I just need to scoot that in a little bit more and adjust it, which I'm gonna do now, and then lift the car up. I might be able to do it. I don't want to have to do this in stages, so I just want to get it sitting high enough to where I could just roll it out all at one time. I don't have to move a jack and all that. So I'm going to elect to get it sitting up higher and then go ahead and move it out at one time. So I'll come back and show you how I did that. All right, so maybe you can tell if you've been watching the videos that this is already moved up a little bit. So basically what's going on is I got the front end suspension off. I got the frame sitting on dollies, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And now I'm going to attempt to move the frame completely from under the car, at which point then I can go ahead and sit it on this body cart that I have. So I'm gonna try to do all of this, in one go as far as removing the frame. And then after I remove the frame, I'm gonna have to do some adjustments, and then I will be moving the body cart under the body. So watch and see. Let's see how it works. Big Black Motors and Glasses coming straight to you. can hear it from here, but now I gotta make sure. You can see right there, that's starting to turn on me. It's probably some debris stuck up on the top. I'm gonna make sure this is watch this and make sure that I'm paying attention. Let's see. I'll just go. Let's see. It's a little bit of space. It has this free floating to where it's shifting. So I need to close that gap somehow. Oh, let's see. See if I can put a couple of these washers in there. I may need to do this on the other side. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna try it again. All right, so just so y'all can kind of get an idea where we at, I'm gonna show you. All right, so the frame is, I would say 90% removed from under the car. 90%. So here's where I'm at. Clearance wise, there may be an issue right here. So I have the jack in place so that I could possibly jack it up somewhere. Now again, it might not be an issue because once this comes down, this might be enough space to clear, to lower it in the back. And I think that's where we gonna land. When I measured it out, the height of the jacks with the pavers, it was supposed to be an extra inch. I don't know if I lost that right here between this little dip, but we about to find out. Let me set this camera up so you can see. This is where we at in the back. So it's about 70%, 60% removed. Set up our high quality, adjustable, I'm talking about, tripod foam stand. Let me lower this. Let's see if I can get y'all straight. Let's see. Now you might hear this dollies falling off this edge, and you'll see. It's close. Here we go. Just what I needed. All right. So y'all see that drop right there to where that inch was at, or it's about a little bit more than an inch. And this is the clearance that I have on the floor. So it shouldn't scrape the floor. I should be able to pull this all out with no problems. Let me adjust the camera and get back with you. Get some chalk so it don't run away on me. All right, so here we are. The moment of truth. Was it gonna work or was it not gonna work? Well, the dollies held up pretty decent. Excuse me for the wind. I'll get in here and try to get out of the wind. So the dollies held up pretty decent. In hindsight, I probably would have nailed some type of cradle part or bolted some type of cradle part, did something to modify the front and the rear end of the dolly placement areas, because it slid out on this side. I had to kind of create some type of bushing type of setup with those washers. So safety wise, I give it a 3 out of 5. But did it work? Yeah, I give it a 5 out of 5. It worked. The idea worked. But as far as moving and adjusting, if you're trying to do this with one person, you need to make sure that you have all of these things considered. Will these move? How can you secure it? I could have used some type of strap situation, maybe a bungee cord even, just to give it a little bit less movement. So it's a few little different things I could have did that was cheap and it probably would have been effective. But frame is out, and this is how we're sitting now as far as the car itself, the body, I should say, itself. So yeah. Now when I get the new frame, I'll be able to look at see mounting applications. How can I mount it? And if the bolt holes line up for mounting the body on the frame, see if I need, how many adjustments I need to make. I'm sure I'll need to make some, but now is going to be putting this under the body so I can have a more secure, safe way to move this car around and have this car stored. And as you can see, we up in the front, down in the back, and I want to have this car sitting as straight as I can because I don't want any shifting of the body, or I don't want to lose none of the integrity of the body as far as the alignment of everything. But it should be good though. I'm just being over cautious. But anyways, Big Block Motors and Classics, we got one in the air like we don't care. We're gonna put this body cart up under there to secure everything. And yeah, we almost there. I'm about to move this frame a little bit more, move this body cart out, and then I'll come back with lining up the body cart and all of that. All right, so I'm under the car right now. This is the previous work that was done to the floor pan. As you can see, this, in my opinion, it could have been done better. I ain't gonna say it's shitty, but I ain't gonna say it's a horrible job, but it definitely could have been done better. So anyways, here's my deal with lining up this body cart. So I don't know, well, you probably can't tell from this angle. Once I get out, I'll shoot another video from the side angle. But this is right in front of the rear passenger side wheel. And so we still have at least a good 5 or so feet of the car that will be hanging off the back of the dolly. My main concern is at this point, weight and balance. There's nothing that's heavy in the trunk. There's a few parts in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower it on the cart just so I can get an idea of how this thing will balance. And I may have these rear posts, these things here, these rear posts sitting higher, and have the front sitting lower to kind of counterbalance the weight. So I'm thinking that might solve it. I've looked online to see how people use these carts, and usually the trunk is hanging off the back because of how the wheel wells on the rear cars, sit proportionate to the frame. So I'm gonna see if this is gonna work, or if not, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to push it further back and try to get it sitting where it's like in the center. So the car without the fenders on it is 75 inches. Yeah, 75 inches, something like that. So I'm going to have to see how this is going to work. Of course, I want to make sure it's safe. This is how you're looking up here. So far, I got it pretty close to lined up. I just have to jack the car up to move the 4x4, to move this so I can lower it on the body cart. While I'm under here, some things that I'm noticing that I'll have to address. The floor is pretty good, but in little spaces like this, I'm going to do my best to clean up. There's nothing really that can be done about this space unless you just take the whole floor out and redo the floor. So what I'm going to wind up doing is get in there with a wire brush as good as I can in all these little holes, nooks and crannies, vacuum them out, clean them out, as best as I can and spray rust encapsulator in there. The whole floor itself is going to be, the whole undercarriage is going to be rotisserie style cleaned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and scrape all the little loose boogers up under here, scrape all that out. You see, I don't know what kind of welding they was doing, but I mean, I've had pieces of the wire go through like this, but I didn't just leave it there. I don't know. They got a screw to where they screwed it in to hold it in place. I don't understand how this is the original floor. This is the floor pan. It's two pieces. I don't know what that is. Anyways, so just normal flash rust. It's pretty good metal up under here. I'm gonna clean as much of this old stuff up off of here, and then whenever I get down to the metal, I get down to the metal, and whatever is covered with this is good metal under there. I flaked off a few pieces just to test the theory if it was good metal. So I'm not gonna worry too much about any of this, trying to get all of this material off of there, because they sprayed a lot in the factory. There's little areas like that are going to need to be hit with the wire brush real good, rust encapsulated, and then I'll spray a coating of Raptor line, a fresh coating of Raptor line over all of this anyway, to just kind of clean it up. You know, I'm gonna take a wire. Most of the stuff under here is going to be hit with a wire brush just to get all of the dust and grime and loose protected off. Then I'm going to rust encapsulate it and then spray some Raptor line on it. So I think that'll be good. Down there, there's a patch that needs to be addressed. The passenger side rear seat floor pan needs to be addressed. There's a little issue going on there, and on the other side they tried to do a patch, so I don't know if I'll have to fix that. I don't know if I have to fix this side. I may be able to just weld it in better. So yeah, but for the most part, I mean, it's not that bad. It could be worse. The body is pretty straight. The main thing is just this area right here, that area right there, the floor pan, this patch job, and just little spots. It's little spots here and there. It ain't that bad though. It's not like I gotta cut a whole bunch of stuff out. Stuff like right in there needs to be cleaned up, rust encapsulated. So I might be able to just accumulated time. It might take me a couple of days to get all of this stuff kind of addressed. Maybe like 3 or 4 days, because the cleaning process is going to be real dusty and a whole bunch of going over the whole car from front to back is going to take some time with the wire brush, sanders, and the different little tools that I'm going to use that I used on another project, and it came out real good. So yeah, but as far as we got today, the body card is in place. I'm about to try to lower it just to see what we're working with, and then kind of go from there. I may or may not be resting it on the body card today. I got to see how the weight and balance works out. So I'm gonna clear the trunk out, take the little stuff that's in there out, and then see what we got.